people who let the problems of today lead them to conclude for them life is not the way. But every problem has an answer, and if yours you cannot find, you should talk it over with them. It'll give you peace of mind. When you feel your life's too hard, just go have a talk with God. Just go have a little talk with God.
It was when I started researching Stevie Wonder's music for this album, when I began to kind of get a focus of where I wanted to take the concept of this album. It came out as I was just like, revisiting a lot of his music, just pulling the music out. It's the typical thing you start doing. You start looking through the whole body of work. And I'm looking at these songs and revisiting songs that I've always loved. And I was just drawn to a number of his songs that I felt like had a particular theme running through them. And it had something to do with just the lyrical content and the messages that I felt like were coming through in the songs.
Yeah, just go have a little talk with God, yeah, yeah.
So much of the lyrical content of Stevie Wonder's music covered a wide array of subject matters, religion to politics, social justice to human rights. What I didn't realize was that they were all threaded together by this old concept in the pop music industry of a message song. And especially in the 60s and 70s, during times of war, during times of civil rights, popular artists, pop artists that were doing really well, very successful, would release a message song that was different from the other music that they did. And sometimes they were called even war and protest songs. The thing about the message song, though, especially when it came to pop artists, was that record labels and managers would actually kind of discourage their artists from releasing those types of songs. They weren't always very widely popular just because of the content of it. We're making music to bring people's spirits up during this time, not to make them think about what's going on around them. Stevie Wonder really was a trailblazer in that sense. It was very obvious very early on that Stevie Wonder's music was going to be characterized by the message song. For him, it wasn't just about making one or two songs in protest of the war. The body of his work was music that would make you think. The integrity to do that and do it at the possible cost of not being as popular of an artist. It's something that I admired greatly about him. Stevie Wonder was just so successful, I think, in this marriage of the popular song coming together with the message song and making that something that people wanted to listen to. They didn't feel like they were being preached to, but he got people to listen to what he was saying, which I think is such an enormous gift. I consider Stevie Wonder a messenger, which is why I named the album Messenger. The 6 Stevie Wonder tracks that we chose are from various albums, from Intervisions, from Fulfilling This First Finale, from Talking Book, and from Songs in the Key of Life. They all were released early 70s to mid 70s. So, a lot of that music was really reflective of just what was going on at that time. And, Stevie Wonder, people always know him as being very politically active and just very socially active.
Someday I will move all my feet to the other side.
But it was really reflective in his music at that time. Those 4 albums, they were very heavy laden with message songs.
We live in a house the size of a matchbox.
Big Brother, I think, is the best example of just this concept of the message song of that era, because it's a commentary on poverty, on political corruption, on all these things, and it's amazing. It's like that's the 70s, and it's still I found that song is more true more than ever right now in this time, in this climate. I wanted to go the direction of an African rhythm and African beats being incorporated into the song. And as we were developing just more of the arrangement of it, I also felt like there needed to be more there to kind of lift more of the message from it. And I was like, I should be speaking some kind of Swahili at some point. Like, we need to have some Swahili in the song. I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know any Swahili, but I happen to have a student of mine, a voice student of mine, Nixon Amalo, who is Kenyan, and I decided to go to him to get some ideas. I wanted to also kind of incorporate another one of Stevie Wonder's songs, kind of secretly embedded in there. So we decided to make a play off of Stevie Wonder's Heaven Help Us All, and just took the main hook of that song.
My name is nobody. Your name is Alcia. Heaven help us.
That was the best. I remember that was the best night I think I had, like, collaborating on the song, because we're calling back and forth and emailing back and forth and checking the Swahili, and am I singing it right? We're singing tracks back to his house. It's just like, is my accent okay? And he's just like, you're doing really good. So I'm really proud of that track and just what we ended up creating.
Your name is Big Brother.
I knew I had to at least have one, like, just recognizable, just classic that everybody was gonna know, and take on that challenge of that to say, okay, what are we gonna do with this? How are we gonna rework it? How are we gonna reinterpret it?
Powers keep on lying.
And Higher Ground seemed like a really cool and fun challenge to take on. I feel like it was really representative of Stevie's genius for being able to, again, deliver the message song through a hot pop tune. I mean, the one that everybody would know, that was really successful. And yet, you know, here it was delivering a really substantial message at the same time.
Keep on turning, 'cause it won't be too long. Oh, no, no, no.
We had a ton of fun. I'm one of the ones I'm proudest of on the album.
Till I reach the heights.
Two of the tracks on the album are original jazz compositions by two jazz pianists that I had written lyrics to their instrumental songs to. One of the songs is called Triple Play. It's by this composer named Hal Galper. Triple Play, I discovered that song, I want to say a little over 10 years ago now. It was on an album called Rough House by John Schofield. The lyrics that I ended up writing, my inspiration came from a book I was reading at that time called Conversations with God by Neil Walsh. The book was something that had really been important in just my overall kind of journey and faith journey in my life. I wanted to write about just an idea I had about the beginning of the soul and its inception, just like the beginning of someone coming into being, and that soul as a persona itself, like the type of questions it might ask, things it might contemplate about why it wants to be here, why it wants to be in existence. And it just kind of came to me in a series of questions, you know, well, what must that soul have been asking at that time? What must it have been thinking about? And what was the conclusion of it all? What brought itself to manifest itself, you know, into existence? So it's kind of I don't know whether to call it philosophical or something, but it's I guess the way my brain works a lot of times, and that ended up somehow I got that to work into Triple Play, just that melody of what it was, and I felt like it ended up being really successful. I had a lot of fun just singing it. So my crew, my guys, well, obviously, you all have met or seen my husband, Darren Scorza. He serves the role as engineer and producer this time around because we chose to record at home. We chose to build our own home studio and record this album at home and give ourselves the freedom to really flesh out what we wanted to do with this album, and just the freedom and liberty to do that. And Darren contributed to a lot of the percussive parts, especially on songs like Big Brother. and on If It's Magic and on They Won't Go When I Go. And he also contributed to some of the musical arrangements on Messenger. I've been working with Darren longer than I've been friends with him, longer than I've been dating him, longer than I've been married to him. So I'm fortunate to have that in my life and to be able to collaborate with somebody so close. Which leads me to my other guys. There's Neil Alger, who played guitar and contributed to most of the musical arrangements on the album. We go way back. We've been performing live for a number of years, and he actually recorded my first CD, I'll Take Romance, with me, as well as Darren. More so than anything, it's like I knew I had to have Neil on this project because he's probably one of the biggest Stevie Wonder fans I've ever known, more than myself, and I knew he was just going to be into this project. He's a talented composer, he's a talented music arranger, and he's just one of the baddest guitar players in all Chicago. Another part of our core group is Bob LaVecchio, who plays bass, both upright bass and electric bass on this album. Bob is just a chameleon to me. I mean, he's able to fit in any kind of situation. Anything we have thrown at him, he finds a way to just meld into, and he just kind of completes that circle. Working with Darren and just completing like our rhythm section for us, you know, we just had so much fun working with him. Again, you know, just a lot of willing participants, and I was so happy to be able to work with so many of them. Stevie Wonder's brought so much substance in his music to this world in ways to help change people's minds and change people's perspectives that I'm feeling like I'm trying to honor him as much as I can by bringing that music out in just a different light. But, you know, I can only hope to be walking in his shoes and being able to create music like that to help change.
It holds the key.